Hey everybody, welcome to IMAGI-NATION TV as we round out the week focusing on the topic of listening. It's been a radical week this week as we've been able to think about slow, deep listening with some of our guests on Monday. With the youngsters, we were able to think about how important listening is for being able to communicate with everybody. We had some fantastic designers come on who have listened to their kids to be able to create great products, who have listened to the world around them to be able to try and create new designs. And yesterday we had an amazing designer called Join us who just completely blew my mind on a number of levels, talking about how to create zero waste out of housing and structures. And that was an amazing experience with Yost Barker. So today we are into the artist segment to round out the week. And this morning I was just looking back through my calendar because me and my partner were trying to work out how long we've been in isolation for. So it's been 7.5 weeks that we've been locked down. 7 weeks ago, we made a call to try and put a mentor in every kid's home every single day through IMAGI-NATION TV. And 6 weeks ago, we had our first episode. So this rounds out 6 weeks of doing IMAGI-NATION TV. And from next week, we'll have partner schools joining every episode. We'll have 10 kids in the live audience. We'll have a co-host who is a young Indigenous kid who'll be alongside me, and really pumped to keep elevating the work that we're doing and try and support kids to have a mentor in their home every single day. Today, co-hosting with me is Steph Beck. Steph, how are you?
Hey Jack, I'm feeling good. Love the Fridays. There's a really special vibe that comes through with all the artists collaborating and bringing us out for the week.
Hey, when you make art, what does that mean for you, that experience when you go into the process of creating?
Sometimes it's really difficult. So I'm trying to figure out how to do it mostly for me. So when I start a piece of artwork, sometimes I have an idea of making other people happy. So figuring out how to navigate that.
Yeah, it's a big challenge, isn't it? Hey, we've got some comments coming in from the chat line. Janae is saying it's been an incredible week so far. Can't wait for today's episode. Nat Vase is saying, yes, can't wait. Good to see you here, Nat. Rose saying, hey, Nat. Hey, Ben. Shayaka saying, yes, I can't get his name wrong. Yost the most. So JOOST keynote was mind-blowing yesterday. I agree with you, Shaka. Okay, let's get into our artist challenge and get ready to rumble and get this show moving. We've got a quick video to kick us off. Kiahra, welcome to the Artist Challenge. How are you feeling and what are you going to create for us today?
Today I did some deep thinking about the topic listening. I decided to do 2 canvases today. On one side, the more traditional side of listening, and on the other, what we're stuck doing for listening during this scary time.
Awesome. Okay, well, you got 25 minutes or so to do 2 canvases, so I'm glad you've set the bar really low. You go for it. We'll come back and learn a bit about your story as we move through the show. Ben, how are you going? Great to have you here.
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks for having me.
Hey, tell us what you're going to create today.
I mean, in my process, I really don't ever know what's going to come out. I try and be quiet and listen to my inner thoughts and try and grab hold of them and turn them into some sort of action so that they can speak to me again through the piece. And so what happens when I create I never know what's going to happen. Most of the time it turns out terrible. So today I'm probably going to make a lot of terrible stuff. I've got some old paintings that I've cut up that I'm going to try and paint over. So let's see how it goes.
Awesome. Have fun with it, man. I think the process when we work with the kids in the physical world, and on our Tuesday episode, we have a module called Failure Time where we just challenge the kids to flip the idea around learning from success or outcome to actual process. And I think the way that you create and just diving into that process of exploration is really the journey of the artists in so many ways, and does such big work for us as a humankind to have artists go wandering into places, not knowing the direction. And that's when we discover really fascinating things about ourselves. It's when we invent new realities. And I think at this current moment, there's never been, or there has been times, but this is a significant time right now for potential reinvention and for us to wander off. So you go wandering and we'll come back and see where you've gone and what that journey is starting to create. And we've got Jared in LA. Jared, how are you?
Doing good.
How you feeling about creating 25, 30 minutes today? Are you up for it?
I'm set.
Okay, awesome. And what have you got coming our way today?
I'm going to do a abstract piece in Photoshop, so it'll be all digital. And it's kind of a series that I've been doing for a bit now, where it's a bunch of shapes, and I don't really lay it out beforehand. I'll put some stuff out, and then I'll start to illustrate like sound waves, which kind of fits in with the listening theme. And the sound waves will sort of intersect, but they never collide with one another. So all these sounds are moving from these different shapes, and it's sort of a visual communication going on.
Love that idea. All right, you go for it. The clock started. Off you guys go get creating. Steph, there's a fair bit of creation going on across those three artists, and we're jumping through a few different worlds. What stood out from some of the responses of what these guys are going to be creating, and what really interested you from their process?
I think I'd have to say definitely Ben. So thinking that he's just going to create a lot of things and see what happens with that. I love the idea of just being brave, putting everything out there and scrapbooking bits and pieces together to create a beautiful piece of, if it's a sculpture or a painting. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with that. And I'm a sucker for animation as well, so I'm really keen to see what Jared creates in 30 minutes today.
Awesome, and I'm pumped to see what Kiahra is going to do with 2 canvases. So that rounds out good interest from both the hosts. Hey Dana, how are you? Thanks for joining us today. We're looking forward to hearing you sing.
Good, thank you. How are you going?
Yeah, good. Tell us a little bit about music and what that means to you in the process of creating, and where does imagination fit in the process of making music for you?
I have a very big imagination, so I feel like it plays a big role, because you don't necessarily have to write about something that you've experienced. You can think of something in your head or make up a story in your head and write about it. So it's pretty cool that I can do that through music.
Yeah, unbelievable. I love that idea that we can just wander off and the story can have a base that maybe has a foundation and maybe doesn't. And I'm currently on a loop pedal with my daughter in nighttime story time, where I'm telling the story about Jerry the goat, who goes walking down the street and then finds this multicolored tree and climbs up the tree and goes past the clouds and talks to the birds and climbs over the universe and eventually makes it up in the stars and sings Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And it goes for about 15 minutes. And then at the end, I'm like, is she asleep? And she turns around and just goes, more. So repeat that on loop. Hey, Dana, thanks for joining us. Really looking forward to hearing you sing. Over to you. And yeah, thanks for joining us on IMAGI-NATION TV.
Thanks for having me. This one is called Sushi in Tokyo, and I released it 7 months ago. So yeah, sit back and enjoy. Listen, tune in deep into my intuition. It's telling me things I don't want to mention. If I did, I'd tell it up to you. What am I supposed to do? The skyline, swerving in and out between these white lines. To offer only comes once in a lifetime. 'Cause it did not give it up to you. What am I supposed to do? So rolled up like sushi in Tokyo. I'm not used to this 2-to-1 ratio. That's what our chances. Play the cards I deal and I won't quit. But I did, I give myself fear. Visions, hearing voices, seeing premonitions. It's taking over, feeling so ambitious. Brand new places for me to explore. Never felt like this before. So rolled up like sushi in Tokyo. I'm not used to this 2-to-1 ratio. That's what our chances. Play the cards I deal and I won't quit. But I did, I give myself fear. So come on, boy, let's give me that good loving. Come on, girl, let's give me that good loving. Come on, boy, just give me that good lovin'. Come on, boy, just give me that good. So rolled up like sushi in Tokyo. I'm not used to this 2-to-1 ratio. I swear I'll chances. Play the cards I deal and I won't quit. Without it, I get myself in. So rolled up like sushi in Tokyo. I'm not used to this 2-to-1 ratio. I swear I'll chances. Play the cards I deal and I won't quit. Without it, I get myself in. There you go.
Ladies, gentlemen, people of the world, Dana Lowry, thank you very much.
Thank
Beautiful tone. It's clear that you've invested, that you're really invested in what you're doing, and it shows in your performance. I've also checked out your Insta page, and I love your little clip that you made in ISO called End of the World Jam. And I just wanted to say it's really inspiring to say that artists are still creating even in all the chaos. So thank you for sharing your talents with us today.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
We've got some love coming in from the chat line as well. We've got Titus saying, absolutely love DVNA, saw her live early last year. We've got Rose Wintergreen, gorgeous music. Thank you, D. NBA. So it's either one or the other. There's a typo battle going on the chat line. Benita Milner saying, this is such a fun song. Drew Patton, what a voice. Lisa Toolin, love this music. Georgie, love the artist segment. Always find new artists to add to my playlist. Kiahra, how are you going with the art challenge? Where are we at?
Started my dotting on this side.
Nice one. Okay.
And we have a base for this side so far.
Unreal. Are you painting like with two different hands at the same time, or how are you doing this?
I have a million sponges and paintbrushes in front of me. So just switching back and forth as it dries, switching back and forth.
Hey, do you think multitasking is possible?
Oh, yeah. I am a mother and we've been working from home for 6 weeks now. So, yeah, definitely possible.
I had this, one of the guys that used to work for us had this huge fight with the guy, not like an actual fight, but a sort of word fight. I suppose that's still a fight, with the guy who used to run Google's learning and development in Asia. And Google came in and did some training for us, for our team, like 8 years ago. When we did the session on multitasking, and they'd done all this research to say that multitasking is not actually possible. What you're doing is you're shifting your lens in a moment to one thing and you're shifting to another thing. And whilst it might feel like you're doing a lot of things at once, you only ever have your focus on one thing for that time. And you can have distractions of other things, but your key focus is on that single point. And I think being able to shift from one canvas to another canvas and back to another canvas would require huge jumps in focus. So it's fascinating to see how you're doing that. Ben, what is happening? How are you?
Honestly, have no idea. Just kind of smearing paint around, doing a few quick self-portraits, trying to just get into the flow of it. Like my practice is usually done alone and in silence, so it's a little bit hard to kind of get into that space. But yeah, I don't know.
What do you mean? We're interrupting the flow a little bit with a bit of a flow interruption with a live audience, and then someone trying to get into your psyche mid-creation.
Absolutely. But yeah, as I said, I'm absolutely dedicated to making something bad, so hopefully something good comes out of that.
Yeah, awesome. How'd you find Dana's music? Did that help make its way through what you were creating?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get some more of that.
Yeah, cool. Definitely. Jared, what's happening with you over in LA?
I got my shapes all laid out, and am I unmuted? Okay. Yeah, I'm getting my shapes all laid out, and I'm enjoying the music and just going with the flow here.
Very cool.
And I've got
well, that's excellent. We've got a crocodile puppet joining us. Very, very good. Steph, have you got anything that you want to know from Chelsea before we give Chelsea the chance to jump on and perform with us?
Yeah, I sure do. I've got a question for you. If you had a dream collaboration, who would you most like to collaborate with? You can have one person from the past and the future, and let us know what that would look like. So maybe you could tell us after your performance, have a bit of a think about it.
Oh, yeah, that's such a good question. Yeah, maybe I'll have a think about it and then let you know.
Yeah, test your ability to run 2 train tracks. Can you just commit to a really focused performance and then answer a really complex question at the same time in parallel? Is that doable?
Maybe I'll just commit to the performance, and
Yeah.
then when I'm
Let's
done,
ask you a
I'll
question after.
whatever comes to my head. That'll be a test. Whatever first comes to my head, that's my answer.
Chelsea, thank you for joining us on Imagination TV.
Thank you so much for having me. I love
it's a pleasure.
this.
Over to you, and let's take the stage on Imagination TV. All yours.
Cool. So this song is actually my debut single that I put out 2 weeks ago today, actually. So really exciting, still kind of fresh for me. And the first time I've ever put music out. So it's called How Come You Don't Pick Up Your Phone? And as you can imagine, it's kind of about the process of getting ghosted, but more so what it says about you rather than the person that is ghosting you. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy it. I have got myself so emotionally invested in you. I sit by myself, alone by myself, as the hours turn blue. You give me a little time, but that don't blow my mind, 'cause I've been on. You ain't got nothing going on. I tell myself to try practicing never mind, but it's just so difficult when all I can think about is how come you don't pick up your phone? 'Cause I know you'll be on it all day long. I know you were online not long ago. I'm going out my mind. You brush me off, baby, I've had to know. It's 6 o'clock on the dot, still no reply. I'm losing my mind. No response, no 3 dots. This should be a crime. You ain't even got a minute. Why you gotta be so emotionally indifferent? You used to have a vested interest. I know you tend to be quite temporally inefficient. That's to say you waste time, i.e. when I used to call you mine. I know you probably declined, so I am the one dropping you a line. That's the power of cologne. You get her often suddenly you cannot be your own. Used to be so in control, but for now I'll just stare at my phone. You give me a little time, but that don't blow my mind, 'cause I've been on. You ain't got nothing going on. I tell myself to try practicing never mind, but it's just so difficult when all I can think about is how come you don't pick up your phone? 'Cause I know you'll be on it all day long. I know you were online not long ago. I'm going out my mind. You brush me off, baby, I've had enough. Pick up your phone. You know I used to be your number one. I know you were online not long ago. I'm going out my mind. You brush me off. I wanna call the shots. Thank you.
Chelsea, collective round of applause from backstage at the moment. Everyone's got their hands up and applauding for you. Hey, we've got the chat line, lots of people sending lots of love. Rose Wintergreen says, "Woo, congrats, Chelsea, such a huge achievement releasing your first single. thank you for being brave and putting yourself out there and telling stories. And yeah, we've got more and more comments coming in. Parul saying, so smooth, Chelsea. It's not black and white, wants to know where can we support Chelsea's music?
Oh, well, obviously the single is up pretty much everywhere you can listen to music, so Spotify, Apple Music, everything. So yeah, it would mean the world if you streamed the song. And yeah, also I continuously post what I'm doing on my Instagram, like little clips of beats I'm making and songs I'm working on. And I've been trying to get better at bass recently, so I've been posting some of that on my Instagram, so that's a good way to keep up to date with me. But in terms of supporting me, yeah, if you love the song, it would mean the world if you listen to it, maybe gave it a cheeky review on Unearthed. But yeah, that means the world. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And yeah, for all our audience out there, all the youngsters out there that are watching at the moment, check out Dana Lowry, check out Chelsea Warner, and check out all the artists that are creating today, and support artists who continue to go into places for us to wander into different arenas and explore big ideas. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing your song with us today, Chelsea.
Thank you. And for the question before, I will probably say Milan Ring, who is a Sydney artist, and I think she's awesome, and she produces and engineers everything that she does. So I would love to see what she does in a session or something and collab with her. That's what first came to my head. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thanks
Chelsea.
for having me.
Oh, good. Steph, do you want to do a whip around to the artists?
Sure thing. Jared, how are we going with the animations?
So I'm not animating, I'm just illustrating all these waves. I saw Bark the Dog last week attempt to animate, and I decided I was just going to illustrate instead this week.
It's probably a bit realistic with the time frame that we've given you as well, so awesome, thank you. Kiahra, let's see your multitasking dual pictures, how they're going.
All right, so far.
Wow, looks like it's turning into a bit of a full picture together with some different colours on each side. Tell you the kids are lucky down in Ballarat to have this program manager coming up with all these amazing ideas. And Benjamin, how are we going with your work?
If you can call it that. Yeah, all right. I'm not too, I like that one. That's all right. Just gonna keep painting, see what happens.
Very cool. It's a little hard to see from back here, but I love the difference in the colours. So you've got some dark and some light and some warm. So yeah, I think it's going to look interesting. Can't wait to see it.
Thanks.
Brilliant. Well, you guys have got about 4 to 5 minutes, so time to start shaping out the finishing products of those creations. Vika and Linda, how are you? Thank you for joining us today. You're so lucky for us to have you here.
Thank you for having us, Jack. We're very excited.
It's a pleasure. Steph, have you got anything you want to ask these wonderful ladies?
Yes, I do. So I was actually born in the early 80s. So I used to hear your voices on the radio and even Saturday morning rage. I put your songs on this morning actually and had danced around the house. So you've probably seen like heaps of change throughout the industry. I just want to know what keeps inspiring you to create and keep sharing your music.
Well, it's really because we come as a team. We've sung together for so long. It's really the harmony that we really enjoy. So that's why it's lovely to be asked by lots of different people to sing for them, to harmonise with them. And I think that because of our love of that, and it's so strong because we're Tongan. We have a Tongan here. Our mother is Tongan, and so we were made to go to church from a very young age and listen to the Tongan choir a lot. And so that kind of inspired us, I think, to be singers, because we love that sound so much. And when and coming as a team, I think it's very handy, because we have that natural blend. And then when great people like Joe Camilleri and Paul Kelly and people like that ask us to sing for them, it's they actually lift us. They help us a lot. And to be able to harmonise and sing their beautiful songs, I think, it's an honour. Yeah.
Well, let's give you the stage on Imagination TV so we can have the pleasure and privilege of being able to be inspired by your music. Vika and Linda, over to you two. It's all yours.
We're going to sing a song that we've been doing for a long time. It's one of the first gospel songs we ever learnt, and it's a song called Set on Freedom.
I'll just get the key though, so we don't sing, you know.
Because otherwise we'll be doing like Happy Birthday, we'll be going through the roof. I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. I woke up this morning
with my mind set on freedom.
Hallelujah,
hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Walking and talking with my mind set on freedom. Just walking and talking with my mind set on freedom. Oh, walking and talking
with my mind set on freedom.
Hallelujah,
hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
There
ain't no harm in keeping your mind set on freedom. Well, there ain't no harm in keeping your mind set on freedom. There ain't no harm in keeping your mind set on freedom.
Hallelujah,
hallelujah, hallelujah,
hallelujah,
hallelujah,
hallelujah,
Yeah, that's the biggest round of applause I can muster without breaking the speakers. Hey, Vika and Linda, thank you so much for joining us. I was, as you sang that song with waking up with your mind set on freedom, I was taken back to New York where I was living a few years ago, and my partner was part of a revival resistance choir which came out of the Women's March movement. And the Women's March is one of the biggest marches and protests we've ever seen in human history across the United States. Everyone gathered and said, it's time for change. And these women came together after Harry Belafonte spoke to them about how to continue a movement and how to make a movement really continue to fire. And he said, when the music is strong, the movement's strong. And this is why today's segment is so important for us, because we want to see the world change. We want to see kids' minds unlocked. We want to see them freed from being told that they're not worthy, being told that they're going to be, perpetuating this disadvantage for their whole life, that they're born into victimhood. We want to break them free of those minds, those shackles that are on their minds, and let them imagine what's possible. And being able to have that energy and that gift today is a fuel for all of us working and for all the kids out there to wake up and have their mind set on freedom. And you took me straight into Times Square when those women came together for this flash mob choir and started singing, and everybody just stopped and watched all these colors, all these races, all these background, and all these really powerful women stand up and say, it's time to take our freedom. So thank you both for everything you've done in your life. Everyone in the chat line has basically said you guys are awesome. Thank you for everything you've done. Thanks for creating. We've got Mimo Base saying freaking national treasures. Tiana Larkin saying big love for this. Kat saying goosebumps. Alexander saying wow. Becky Smith saying what on earth, absolute magic. Thank you so much. So thank you both for what you've done and for pouring your soul and giving us that gift and that energy with your music day in, day out, and joining us today.
It's such a pleasure and an honour, and sending everyone much love.
Awesome. Thank you both. All right, we're going to get to the back end of this show now, and we're going to move into our artists to wrap it up. So on Imagination TV on a Friday, we sponsor a song for our musicians that come on. It's such a tough time at the moment to try and work out how to gain a revenue as a musician. So it's a little bit that we do. It's $100 that we kick in. If anyone in our audience would like to sponsor a song in the future, just jump onto aimmentoring.com and make a $100 donation so we can help out these musicians as they keep moving and keep inspiring us. And let's whip around to get the conclusion of our works from our artist challenge. We'll go. Kiahra, are you ready to finish?
Not quite. We had an accident on one of the canvases, but
I love an accident.
Yes. So the other canvas is almost finished.
Okay. Well, we will. The time's up. So just show us what you've done. Sick.
They're supposed to be like Wi-Fi signals because we're stuck at home using our internet to learn and to educate ourselves. And this had paint splattered all over it, so I couldn't get much further than that. But by the end, it will have little of the same kind of symbols, but dotted out because we learned through our art. Awesome,
Kiahra. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the work you do with AIM, being a mentor for youngsters and working to lift them up and show their potential. So thanks for joining us on the show today, and thanks for embracing failure time and having a crack and creating two different worlds for us in a short space of time. Ben, it's crunch time. We've got to come out of the flow, and we've got to see what you've done, and we've got to get the verdict. What do you think?
Today was definitely an exploration in failure. So I probably bring it up so you can see a bit better. As you can see, nothing's very good. Everything's still very early. If anyone wants to don't buy these are terrible, but if anyone wants to jump on my Instagram and buy anything over the weekend, I'm going to split all the proceeds with AIM and donate 50% to AIM. So stuff on my Instagram is a lot better than this, but this is the most important part of any artist practice, is just making the art, being committed to just letting the flow happen and seeing what happens, and you have no control over it. It's all within, and listening to that voice within. As you can see, it's terrible. So thank you.
I don't think it's terrible. I think it's thought. I think it's exploration. I think it's a journey. I think it's brave. I think it's an amazingly brave thing you do, the way you create, and and very. I was going to say generous, but almost. I'm just thankful that you want to work in a world where you can support and lift other people up. So thanks for donating, half of the proceeds of those works over the weekend. And we're actually, my mum spent her life as a visual artist, and we lived, especially in the 80s, 90s, sort of exhibition to exhibition. Like we'd have these peaks after 6 or 12 months, and then mum would suddenly buy everyone a TV. I'm like, Mum, I'm not sure that's how budgeting works. But anyway, we got through, and she always gave us, everything that we needed as a visual artist with 3 kids. It's been pretty remarkable. And one of the things which always astounded me was that galleries take a 40% commission on works. And, often as a 10-year-old, I'd walk in and I'd be like, I'm pretty sure Mum got the whole crowd here, and I'm pretty sure Mum did all the work. I'm pretty sure this is just like an empty white room. Why do you get 40%? So we're, based on that idea of what you suggested, we're going to flip open an imagination gallery in the next month or two when we can get it ready on the web, and have 40% of the proceeds go to AIM to work with kids and give artists a chance to exhibit on the imagination gallery, and those that create on a Friday be able to donate a work to be a part of that, and have a way that, we can sort of pump that back through to help kids get through school. So thanks for sort of leading the way with that idea. And we're pumped to see the work that comes out over the weekend, and hopefully everyone can jump on and support you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Good on you, Ben. And we'll finish up with Jared. Jared, where do we land?
I finished.
Awesome.
It's kind of a glare, so I have to position myself in a weird way here, but yeah.
Hey, so gnarly neons you've got going on there. What takes you into sort of neon world?
Well, it's funny. I actually based my palette off of what a lot of Imagination TV's palette is. I think my purple is a little bit more desaturated, but I figured this was specifically for the show, so I wanted to put a bit of the show into it.
Oh, sick, man. Well, thank you for joining us and creating today. How'd you find the challenge of creating something in 20 odd minutes?
It was a challenge, but I tried to give myself something I thought I could manage. So thankfully I did it just at the end of that song, that last song.
And how can the viewers support your work? How can we follow up with what you do?
You can follow my work on Instagram. It's JDWEISS25 at Instagram. And that's mostly where I'll post my work. And I currently am the storyboard director on a TV show called Laser Wolf, and that should be premiering sometime in the fall.
Awesome.
At least in America, but I don't know about internationally.
Well, we'll have to get you back on the show because on the 11th of May we're going to launch a feature film co-written by everybody. So we're going to open up a Google Doc and we're going to write on the top Imagine, and then for a month everyone that comes on the show is going to do mini writers workshops, and we're going to see if we can work with our audience, with the kids, with university students right around the world, and then see what happens with a script over the course of a month. And then we're creating a hoodie called This Hoodie is a Film, and we're going to give that out as a grant to creators who want to go and then make the scenes. And over the course of a 3-4 month period, we're going to create a feature film called Imagine from this time. So we'll have to try and get you back on to do a little bit of storyboarding and work on this experiment we're going to bring to life on the 11th of May. So that will happen on the 11th of May. Next week, we've got lots of kids joining us. We've got a new wizard segment, which is 180 seconds of wizardry. On Wednesday, we're going to have a government gurus section where we get people who lead governments around the world to come in and tell us, how the heck do you govern a society and what ways do you think about that? So next week, I think we've got Jim Chalmers joining us as the shadow treasurer for the federal government in Australia at the moment. So we'll keep navigating the complex things and keep wandering off into different places with our imagination. Steph, thank you for joining us as the co-host today. You're fantastic. How was the day for you?
It was really great. I want to say thanks to everyone for joining us as well, for your energy. One quote that we got from our mentee that joined us on Tuesday as an artist said that you can't judge a piece of artwork because to say it's good or bad because it's not finished. And I thought, like, that's really good. So I'm going to take that for something for myself as well. So thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, never finished, always drafting. We'll see you guys on Monday for the next episode of Imagination TV. Look after yourselves. Head to aimmentoring.com if you want to support the show. Grab a This Hoodie Pays Rent hoodie and help people pay their rent. Grab an Imagination hoodie, chuck in a donation. Keep supporting us, keep supporting each other, and let's get a mentor in every single home, every single day. See you, everyone. Have a great weekend.